Welcome to Geology, a channel dedicated to making concepts in biology simple, easy to understand, and interesting. But having said that, I would also like to say that the role of a teacher does not stop with just explaining concepts. But I strongly believe that as a teacher, my role is also extended to making a student be ready for success. And one such derailer which a student faces and which is definitely harmful is procrastination. So in this video today, I'm going to deal with the easy proven ways and techniques, strategies that you can follow to overcome procrastination and then study effectively. Let's begin. First things first, what is procrastination? Basically, when you delay something, you put off a task and you push it to the last minute, sometimes even beyond the deadline, that is known as procrastination. A person who procrastinates thinks only about the short-term benefit or the short-term gratification and misses out on the long-term costs. And in a way, you can say that it is a type of a failure of regulating yourself. Somebody has also defined procrastination as a perfect method for adding drama into one's life. Yes, of course, because when we are in the last moment, we are tensed, we are agitated, and there's so much drama that we create. So, which is also a reason why it is important to address this problem of procrastinating. Procrastination increases our stress and anxiety. Imagine you have not studied and tomorrow is your exam. So how are you going to be today evening? So needless to say, how procrastination increases stress and anxiety. It gives results into a poor quality of work. Obviously, if you're not able to study thoroughly, the quality of answers that you will be producing in exams or when you will be implementing a concept in real life, um, the quality is going to suffer because you have not spent the required amount of time to understand and grasp the topic. You might hence miss out on various opportunities like good marks followed by good admissions or um, the quality of your projects in your work life in future might suffer. You enter into strained relationships because you are going to be agitated, irritated with people around you, with your friends, with your colleagues, with your classmates, with your parents, siblings. When you are irritated, it strains the relationship with people around you. It declines your productivity because you could have achieved so much more, but since you have wasted so much time, the time in hand is limited and you are able to produce or grasp only so little. And this constant pressure of things pending, something always hanging over our heads, it makes us feel overwhelmed and burnt out. This in turn has a negative impact on health. We have seen so many cases where young children have also started getting blood pressure, uh, blood sugar, and so many other kind of diseases arising out of stress, sleeplessness, anxiety. And when we are constantly not able to deliver up to our performance, somewhere it starts affecting our self-confidence and we start believing that maybe we are not that good. So it reduces our self-esteem. Sometimes it has financial consequences. Imagine you have been pushing off your project work for so long and now you are um, close to the deadline where you don't have the time to do it and you try to outsource it to somebody. One, you do not get the advantage of what you should have by doing the project yourself. Second, you end up spending unnecessary money. And sometimes you may even miss the deadline completely, and that could be really disastrous, especially if there are marks and other things involved in it. Your reputation goes for a toss. Then impaired decision making. Um, See, when we are not studying at the right time, when we try to study at the end in the last moment, most of the times we don't have the time to go through the entire thing. Then we try to pick up some topics, and then we think that this is probably important or that question is important, and we study only that. And then we leave it to the chance, thinking that our questions will come only from this portion which we have studied. So this decision is actually not right. As a student, I always recommend that you study the entire syllabus, not just only key topics. And of course, like I have mentioned earlier, because of procrastination, we would have wasted so much of our useful time. Can procrastination be cured? Of course, yes, a big yes, because it's a habit. It is not a personality trait. A personality trait cannot be changed, it can be masked, but it comes out in some form or the other. But a habit can always be built. A bad habit can be dropped, a good habit can be built. But for getting rid of this habit of procrastination, you should spend a little time to understand what is the root cause or what are the reasons. Are you afraid of failure? Are you afraid of um, success? Sometimes, people are even afraid of success. They think that if I do very well in a particular subject, then probably my parents will push me into taking that subject. They'll push me into becoming an engineer, whereas I want to be an artist or whatever. So there could be fear of failure, fear of success. You might be overwhelmed looking at the huge syllabus, or maybe you're thinking of the perfect time when you should be sitting, or the perfect notes. Sometimes your past experience can drive some negativity in you and can raise some self-doubts. Sometimes when you're making your goals and you're setting your targets and schedules, that and the task might not be getting well together. Sometimes the reward is unworthy, um, or there is a fear of failure. When we see a reward is unworthy, meaning like sometimes people are not motivated with certain opportunities. Like if somebody says that if you prepare well in a poem recitation, you might get opportunities to speak in public, and that might not be an interesting thing for many people. So that reward is not probably um, giving them the right level of motivation. Let me tell you the story of one of my students. I have changed her name just to maintain privacy. She was putting off her studying for a very long time. She was a good student, but somehow she kept on, postponing. And when we identified, we saw that she has a fear of failure, and she feels overwhelmed looking at the huge syllabus in front of her. So the thought of not being able to perform, that itself was paralyzing her, and that was leading to this avoidance behavior. We took a few strategies and worked with her. The first one was we broke down the bigger topics into smaller subtopics and focused only on those at one point in time. That way, the difficult topics did not look daunting and she was able to cover them. The next one was time blocking, where we identified the time of the day when she was most receptive, and that was the time when she focused on studying the most difficult topics. The third one was mindfulness techniques. Like we said, she had this habit of um, the fear of failure, so her mind would get into the negative spiral of thoughts. So, uh, to stop her mind from automatically getting into those negative thoughts, she practiced mindfulness. Mindfulness is basically stopping whatever you're doing from time to time and then focusing on what are things happening around you more purposefully. For example, when we walk, we do it automatically, but when we do it mindfully, then we pause and focus on how does the ground feel below our feet? How does the floor feel below us? How is the temperature of the room in which we are walking, or how is the wind blowing where we are walking? So that breaks the flow of thoughts which the mind has automatically gone in. So that way she overcame her fear of failure. And for managing anxiety and for focus, she practiced deep breathing and meditation. So with these kind of strategies, she was able to overcome a lot of her problems and do her studies more proactively. She even scored very good marks in her exams. Now let us look at all the different strategies which are available, which you can make use of. One, the first one, when we are setting a goal, say for example, you want to set a goal of completing a chapter, and you say that I will finish the chapter, and that's my goal. But that kind of a goal is generally very vague. So whenever you set a goal, it needs to be a SMART goal. When we say SMART goal, it means it needs to be very specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. For example, I will complete reading and solving previous year's questions for the chapter Life Processes by 30 November 2023. When we say this, by mentioning 30 November 2023, we are assigning a time to it. So it becomes time bound. We are talking about the chapter life processes. So we are very clear about we are very specific about what is that chapter we are going to do. Is it achievable? Yes, because we still have about 10 days time in hand and we should be able to complete it. So it is achievable. Is it relevant? Yes, if it is relevant because it is the topic which is uh, from our syllabus. So it's a relevant activity. And how am I going to measure whether I have succeeded? That is, I would complete reading the chapter and solving the previous year's questions. If I have done both of this, then I have completed the goal. So you are very specific about what you want to do. You are able to measure how you're going to do it, uh, how you're going to succeed. Is it achievable? That is, it should be realistic. Is it relevant to you? And there should be a timeline assigned to it. Only then your goal setting is complete. So when you are setting a goal for completing a specific portion, make sure that you have all of these components built in. There are a few thumb rules that you can follow. The first one is break down any big task into smaller chunks and focus on that. You will see the big task automatically getting covered in no time. Then start doing something. Instead of pushing the topic aside, just start it for maybe 5 minutes. But once you start it, you would have done something, you would have gone ahead, and you never know. Once you start, you might start getting ideas. The topic might look interesting, or the clarity can start coming to you. At least you would have got started, if not anything else. Trust the process. If there is a process assigned to a particular activity and it looks boring, trust and surrender to the process, that it has been designed with some purpose, with some thought behind it. And once you surrender to the process, it gets easier to accept and then do it. The fourth one is brainstorm why. If you are still not able to surrender to the process, then brainstorm the idea with maybe your teacher or colleague or your parents. Um, you will find ideas, you will find new perspectives which will help you to accept things and understand why you should do it, and it'll become easy for you to do. Then the 5 minutes trick. This is my favorite. If any activity takes less than 5 minutes, then just do it off. Just do it off if it is for less than 5 minutes. If it is for more, then you can assign a time to it and so on. Then the power of habit. This is about building small habits, doing those habits repeatedly. And when you do that, you will find that at the end of the day, you have got a lot of things done. For example, um, maybe there is a literature story that you do not like, then every day just read one page and you would see that soon you have covered the entire topic and you would have built the habit of reading it. So, building small habits, doing small activity on a daily basis, you would be able to cover up a lot. The next thing is prioritize. So, when you wake up in the morning, think about all the activities that you have for the day and put them into these four boxes. The box one, which is important and urgent, which is crisis activities where you need to attend to them uh, immediately, like you may have an assignment deadline or something like that. The other activity is probably not important, but it is still urgent. For example, a phone call or an email that has to be attended to. Then there are activities which are important but not urgent. This is basically the place where we just procrastinate the maximum, where we plan ahead or we execute as per schedule. For example, your health goals, your exercise goals, your personal development activities, reading your chapters, whatever. And the fourth box is not important, not urgent, which are activities which you should not do. So list down all your activities and put them into these four boxes. Then you will know which are the ones to be done. The urgent, very urgent, important ones have to be attended. So finish those first and then focus on this box where you have allocate some time, because this is the cure for all problems. If this is attended, you will not have this symptom. You will not reach into this kind of a crisis situation if you have attended to this on time. And the reasons why we do not attend to this is mostly these two boxes where phone calls, emails, watching Netflix, TV, video games, they kill our time, while things like Netflix and all just do not do it. Whereas if there is an email, where there is a phone call which has to be attended, spend minimal time on it. So that's how you prioritize your day. You prioritize your tasks. Eat the frog. If you have a plate full of things to eat and one of them is the frog, obviously you would try to push that aside because that's the most difficult thing to eat. With that concept, the book says, uh, do the most difficult thing first. And if there are many difficult things, then do the most difficult one first. Then there are some other techniques of time management, like Pomodoro technique. Pomodoro technique is where um, you study for 45 minutes, you take 15 minutes break, then you again study for 45 minutes, and you take 15 minutes break. So you do this alternatively, and when you're studying, you do it full focused. When you are taking the break, then just relax. Time blocking, we've already seen. Cultivating a growth mindset, which means that um, believing that nothing is permanent. If you had failures, if you scored bad marks previously, doesn't mean that every time this will happen. Or maybe you had a blackout or you forgot something while writing in the exams. Just believe that that was one such event. It is not going to happen every time. Nothing is permanent. And also believe that you can always develop your abilities and intelligence by practicing, by with through hard work. And then eliminate your distractions. Turn off notifications when you sit to study, and study at a dedicated workspace. You do not cook in the drawing room, right? So in your study table, use it only for studying. And seek accountability and support, which means maybe tag up with a friend, tag along with a coach or a mentor, and check your progress from time to time. ask your mentor to follow up with you whether you have completed an activity which you have been procrastinating. Same way you do it for your friend. So that way both of you will finish a daunting task. And then celebrate small wins. Acknowledge small wins. Maybe just hang out, make have something that you like to eat or something. Just celebrate a small victory, small win. That will reinforce your behavior. And then the mind game. Always have a positive self-talk. Self-talk is what you normally talk to yourself. We often unknowingly uh, talk to ourselves, and we often um, talk negatively, meaning like, for example, we say that, yeah, maths is something which never comes to my mind. I never understand this. I never like physics. I don't understand the concepts. So these are negative self-talk. So whenever you're talking, talk to yourself positively. Say that physics could be difficult, but I know how to focus, how to understand, things like that. So these were some of the techniques which we have seen. Identified the challenges, and then there are the techniques which are written next to it. So this will help you to decide the way that you should be taking. So there are 2 slides on that. Maybe stop, pause the video here and look at your challenge versus the strategy that you should be using to overcome your procrastination. Spend some time on that before you go out of the video. And if you have any questions which are more specific to you, feel free to ask me in the comment section. And if you find the video helpful, then please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.